Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 22 custom Formula 2 season for round 7 at Silverstone. Coming into this round, I think we sit third in the championship, so we have some work to do. So let's just get into qualifying and see if we can grab a pole position and the bonus 4 points we get for that. So here we go through the first few corners and getting through there nicely enough. Silverstone has always been a track I've gelled very well with in the Formula 2 cars. I remember a couple of years ago running around on 100 difficulty, which is something I very rarely do. But it's just how in tune I was with the cars and the track at that time, but not quite doing that this time. But anyway, we continue to push on to the end of our first flyer in qualifying. And there was a few mistakes and definitely a handful of things we could tidy up, and on our second run we do that, and this last section of the track we get through a little bit cleaner as well, and we cross the line to go fastest, and that time we'll stick.
The grid is all set for the race tomorrow, but before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top three, which are Viscal, Pourchaire and David Beckman. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
And with all of that, we take pole position out of Pourchaire, Beckman, Schwartzman and Piastri. Samaya doing a good job in qualifying to get well into the top 10. Our teammate Marino Sato unfortunately not so lucky, and he qualifies outside the top 10 in 11th position. Jack Aitken, another one of our championship rivals, down the order as well, so this one has the opportunity and the potential to mix things up in the championship, and we'll have a look at the standings in just a moment. That is not the championship standings, that is the race director. That's not what we want. We want the championship standings, and there they are. Oscar Piastri leading the way. We move ourselves up into second ahead of Jack Aitken, but there is only 5 points in it between myself and Piastri, and Jack Aitken only a couple of points further back. Marino Sato not quite really in the fights given his lowly qualifying along with Jack Aitken, so it's going to be between myself and Piastri this weekend. Let's get into it. Jane Deruvla on reverse grid pole.
Welcome to Silverstone, one of the staples of the Formula 2 Championship. It's a firm favourite amongst fans and drivers alike, and we're all keen to see what it has in store for us in today's race. The 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit in Great Britain should be familiar to fans and drivers alike. Built on the side of a World War II airbase, the track features 18 corners and some good opportunities to overtake at the end of 2 DRS zones, located on the Wellington and Hangar Straights. Joining me today in the commentary box is 2012 GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi. We all know the circuit so well, Davide. What's got your attention today?
Always a pleasure, Alex. Everyone looks forward to Silverstone, and with such an intriguing grid, I think the fans will be excited for the start of today's race. We know these young drivers are hungry to prove themselves. Hopefully, we'll be seeing some more history being made today.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will not let you down as we now go to the 5 red lights for the sprint race here at Silverstone. Lights are on, we're underway for the sprint race, and it's a good start for us as we head down towards the first corner, gaining a spot immediately and gaining on the group ahead, but missing the corner completely and losing that one position we gained already, and we're back down into 10th position. Going to go for the lunge down the inside of Pourchaire and maybe even Beckman, but we'll settle for just Pourchaire for now. But good exit for the Frenchman as we get all kinds of out of shape on the outside. Very lucky to get away with that, and Teo Pourchaire is going to hold on as we slot into 10th position once again. So unfortunately no positional gain for us off the start, and we are right where we started, so that's unfortunate, but we'll see if we can chase them down and close the gap as we go around the outside of Pourchaire, and maybe even Beckman, maybe even the Prema car there of Robert Schwartzman. No, it's not going to happen. We're back still behind Teo Pourchaire, getting a little excited there, but yeah, no moves to be made, and we still remain in 10th position. So yeah, it's been a tough start, but we'll see if we can get a good run through Maggots and Beckett's for the first time, maybe make a move down towards Stowe. So here we go, through Maggots and Beckett's, a little bit wide of the first apex, a little bit wide of the second one, and yeah, just not a great line through there, and no opportunity to make a move for us, so we'll just have to wait for a little bit longer, and hopefully we're not under too much pressure from behind with Marino Sato pushing us along, but going a bit deep now into Stowe. So yeah, a bit of a shaky start to this one. We need to get a rhythm and try and oh, that's a bit late on the brakes. I was going to say close the gap. That gap was closing a little too quickly there, but we managed to get away with no front wing damage. Bit of a avoiding action needing to be taken there as Marino Sato is coming with us. But as we continue on then, eventually Teo Porcher makes the move on David Beckman as we're still running wide, and Marino Sato now having a look at us. But now that Teo Porcher has cleared David Beckman, maybe that means we can have a go at Beckman, because with Porcher in the DRS and slipstream from Beckman, it was very difficult to get a good run. But maybe if Porcher can break that DRS, that could help us. Sato now down the inside towards the first corner, and we're going to run wheel to wheel, and we'll hold on just about from our teammate. But he's got some good pace. But once we get a rhythm, I know we can challenge the pack ahead, and now we are starting to get into that as we are staring at the rear wing and gearbox of David Beckman, trying to get a good run through Maggots and Beckett's as he is in the dirty air, and we do get a good run on the exit. DRS open for us, DRS for Beckman as well, but we've got a much stronger slipstream being closer behind Beckman. Now down the inside into Stowe, and we'll make the move on David Beckman and move ourselves up into 9th position. So finally
You made it look so easy.
getting that move done. But we're too late on the brakes again into club, and now we're going to lose that spot to Beckman as we run wide, and David Beckman gets that spot back for free after we worked so long to try and take that position. We throw it away at the very next corner, and it's an absolute reset, and we're back into 10th position once again, as there's a mechanical failure there for Marcus Armstrong, and the Kiwi driver not making it to the end of this one, and the engine going boom in that car. So we move on once again, and we will try to get a good run through Maggots and Beckett's once more, and we get a really great run, and we almost stick the nose in down the inside of the left-hander between Maggots and Beckett's. That was never going to work, and thankfully we did not go for the move as we exit Chapel. DRS open now along the run towards Stowe in the slipstream of David Beckman. We're a bit further back this time, but we're going to have to go for the move down the inside, and we will get it done and get ahead of David Beckman. And now we'll see if we can make the move down the inside of Porcher. No, we're a bit far back for that dive, and Porcher will hold on for a little bit longer, but we are finding some pace in this one as the race wears on, and we will make the move down the inside of Porcher eventually, and we'll get that one done and move ourselves up another position and into 8th. So now into the points in this race.
Good job, nice overtake.
So it is all good signs for us for the time being. We continue on. Porcher looking to fire back down the inside, running wheel to wheel through the right-handed turn 1. We managed to hold on for now, and we soon set our sights ahead once again as we begin to close the gap to Guilherme Samaya as we're putting the pressure on it towards the club section down the inside, and we'll make the move on Guilherme Samaya as he lets us go around the outside of the final few corners. Continuing on again then, we're still making moves and a big lunge down the inside of Dan Tixham, and a bit of a grazing of wheels and side pods there, but we get the move done nonetheless, and we're ahead now of Dan Tixham. So that was a borderline move, but we get it done. Zhou Guanyu, unfortunately for him, retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and he'll take no further part in this one. Pulls off exactly where Marcus Armstrong did, off on the side of the hangar straight. Team radio? No team radio. No time for that. We're out of fuel. We've run out at the end of this race, and we're going to be losing positions all the way to the line. We've got no power left in this engine, and we're out. this has happened again. We've run out of fuel. Why does this keep happening? I don't understand. But what I do know is that without the go juice, the car ain't gonna go. It's not going anywhere at the moment. We're going very, very slowly, cutting across the chicane there. Didn't even get a penalty for it. We're going that slowly and just trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. We've almost run out of cars to pass us now. We're almost into last position. Yuri Vips wins the race, but for us, we've gone from a nice run through the field and gaining a bunch of places to dumping them all in a matter of half a lap. We'll cross the line eventually.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Down in 20th position and a disastrous end to the sprint race. We need to get this fuel situation sorted, honestly. This is a disaster.
Brilliant stuff from High Tech GP today. What a superb victory. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way round.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations, and how well deserved is this one. What a fantastic victory for High Tech GP.
So it's Yuri Vips who wins the sprint race here at Silverstone. Second place goes to Jay and Deruvula with Oscar Piastri in third.
And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Liam Lawson. One of the best things about Formula 2 is watching these young drivers grow and mature, and it feels like his career took a big step forward today.
After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, after that little disaster, we dropped to third in the championship behind Jay and Deruvula, second in the constructors at the moment. So, I mean, we're still well in the fight, but it is an unfortunate result, and we can't really afford to keep throwing away points as we've done a few times this season for various reasons. So hopefully the feature race can go much better for us, but yeah, I don't know. This fuel thing is so weird, but it just happens on occasion. Just seem to run out of... Wow, that was so close to having a monumental moment there. But anyway, it just happens sometimes, just running out of fuel. It's something I just can't really work out. I don't know if it's something in the way I drive, if I just use more fuel than I should be, or what it is, but for whatever reason, I just keep running out of fuel, and it's just a recurring issue that just crops up every now and again. And unlike in previous games where the engineer, Jeff, would actually tell you when when you don't have enough fuel to make it to the end, so you can start lifting and coasting, saving fuel, etc. But the new engineer Mark, doesn't seem to want to do that. So yeah, it's quite frustrating because you don't realize you're running out of fuel until it comes to a grinding halt, halfway around the final lap. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but anyway, that is what we have to deal with, I guess, in this one. And to be fair, you can check yourself how much fuel is left, but that's not really something you should have to do in a Formula 2 race. But anyway, I'll have to start paying more attention to the fuel in the bottom right on the MFD in the future. But yeah, other than that though, this race was actually really good. We made some good passes, a few mistakes in there, but overall we were pretty clean and were able to make a lot of good moves. That one on Dan Ticktum was probably the most borderline, grazing wheels there, but yeah, it's all for nothing if we can't actually make it to the end of the race. So I guess we'll just move on to the feature race and try again.
And hello to everyone joining us here in Silverstone this weekend as the drivers make their final preparations for today's race. The grid is forming up and we're getting ready for what promises to be a real spectacle. 5 miles out from Tosa, this icon of British motorsport heritage comprises 18 corners over 3.6 miles of circuit. Silverstone has been through several changes over its lifetime, with the start line now leading into Abbey, a fast right-hander for turn 1. But still there, of course, is the circuit's most famous and iconic sequence of corners, starting at Maggots, turn 10. Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations. Ben Fiscal starts his race from pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Théo Pourchaire. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Beckman, Schwartzman, Oscar Piastri and Samaya, Lundgaard, Ticktum, Vips, Jan Deruvala, Sato, Vachor, Felipe Drugovich and Armstrong, Aitken, Nissani, Fittipaldi and Larim Zendelli, Joe, Boschon, Lawson and Alessio Deleda rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I won't let you down. Probably. We'll see. Depends if there's enough fuel. And you can actually see I'm physically checking here. You cannot adjust the fuel load in Formula 2. It's not something you can do. So, yeah, there's literally just... There was not enough fuel in the car to go to the end in the previous one. Like I said, could be my driving. Maybe I'd spin the wheels a lot and use more fuel that way, or could even be something I do on the formation lap. I don't know. But anyway, speaking of formation lap, we move on to the end of it so we can prepare for the start of this
Decent
one.
parking. Let's try and get a good launch as the lights go out.
Not a great parking job.
Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
But the matter of fact is we just need to make sure we get a good launch. That's the most important thing. Parking in the right spot is the second most important factor here. 5 red lights are on. And it's lights out and away we go for the feature race here at Silverstone. It's a good start and we're going to lead the way down into the first corner, lifting a little bit there just to make sure we can get through nicely. And we're away and clear into the lead to start off this Silverstone feature race. So to win this one, really all we have to do is maintain the lead, but that's something I've always had some troubles with. I have a history of whenever I'm in the lead, I always start to relax a little bit too much and start making mistakes. So hopefully we can avoid that this time and be nice and consistent all the way through. So we move on straight away onto lap 12. Nothing really happened in all that time. Everything's been happening behind us. The positions are changing all over the place, but a moment out of the final corner, which we have been struggling with, allows Samaya into the lead. Samaya has been coming through the field. I think he started 6th and has been steadily making progress and now finds himself in the lead for Samaya. So he's having a great race for him. But anyway, we're boxing on this lap anyway, so hopefully we'll be able to get past him with the undercut. But we'll see how that goes as the race goes on. But at the moment, Samaya has put himself up into first position. We move on then to Copse corner. We got a good run through here and we're having a look. Maybe we can make a move on Samaya into Maggots and Beckett. No, that door was always going to close. Samaya shutting that one as we are taking all the wrong lines through there, missing every possible apex. So that wasn't great. But thankfully we do just about have enough to hold off Théo Pourchaire, and we find ourselves fighting away. That's David Beckman, then Pourchaire. We find ourselves fighting away with those two again, though. We're fighting with Beckman and Pourchaire a lot in the previous race. But anyway, we're both, myself and Samaya, heading into the pit lane, and we will not have a chance at an undercut. Didn't want to go for the overcut though. That would interfere with my teammate's strategy, and yeah, it just wasn't going to work. So we have to pit on this lap. There was no other alternative, and
that was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
yeah, despite a good stop and being relatively close behind Samaya, the Charouz team do just enough, and they managed to get him out right in front of us. So
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
a bit of a moment on the pit exit, but we get away with it, and we get racing once again straight across to the racing line as early as we can to open up this corner. And we need to get past Samaya as early as possible in this stint. Potentially while the tyres are still cold there may be an opportunity, but it looks like Samaya's got through the first few corners alright, and it's going to be somewhere later around the lap. Maybe Maggots and Beckett's will be the charm for us this time. We're getting a good run through here now, and nicely getting through Maggots and Beckett's. That is how you do it. Now on the back of Samaya as Sato and the rest of the pack, who are yet to stop, go ahead and do so. We're down the inside of Samaya, and we'll make the move stick at Stowe corner, and we've got the job done, and we're ahead of Guilherme Samaya. But the key is Piastri was, I think, the lead car of the people on the alternative strategy, that being stopping a lap later. So it'll be interesting to see where he re-emerges versus us, because we've just had a lap stuck behind Samaya and on cold tyres. So here we go through the first few corners. Piastri is right there behind us. He's probably slotting himself between myself and Samaya as we speak. Samaya trying to make the move around the outside. We go deep into Village and the loop. We get away with it as Samaya's made his way up into second position. So Samaya doing me a huge favour there and putting himself between me and Piastri. So there we go. Guilherme Samaya. Wow, that was a bit of a risky moment there for him, but he gets away with it. But unfortunately that doesn't last long. Piastri almost straight away goes for the re-overtaking move down the inside, and he'll get it done at Copse, and Oscar Piastri takes the position back from Samaya. Meanwhile, further back, Ralf Boschung retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Unfortunate for the Swiss driver, he will not make it to the end of the Silverstone feature race. And now Piastri is down the inside as we're deep into the first corner. We're trying to give him some room because he was looking, and I didn't want to make any contact. But Oscar Piastri basically scared us off the road there, and Piastri takes the lead as we now drop into second position. So Oscar Piastri doing a good job this weekend and is gaining more and more points on us. So that's not exactly ideal, and we're now down into second position, so that's not ideal for us. This isn't ideal. 3 wide into Stowe, and it looks like Larims and Deli is going to make a double move down the inside and gets past Felipe Dragovic and I think Yuri Vips that is behind. So that's a great move there by Larims and Deli, and getting it done. So nice work by the young German driver. So there's an issue there for Theo Porcher, and he is out of the race with a mechanical failure. Anyway, we continue to push on, and we are catching Piastri again. We've been sort of drifting in and out of contention with Piastri, but we're close now, so we'll see what we can do. We've got DRS on our side.
Pods have taken damage. Keep an eye on your engine temperatures. Cooling may be adversely affected. The underbody's taken some damage. Expect some significant impact to performance, I'm afraid. No tyre concerns at the moment. Just focus on the driving.
But unfortunately, our car's kind of wrecked. I don't really know how that happened. I'm guessing it must just be from pounding over the curbs all day, because that is kind of part of my driving style, but that tends to have a negative effect on the structural integrity of the side pods and the floor. And by the end of the race, we're actually under pressure from Samaya, banging wheels through Stowe. We do hold him off though, as Oscar Piastri comes around the final corner, and Oscar Piastri is going to win here. This feature race in Silverstone goes to Oscar Piastri. We will hold on for second position, just ahead of Samaya.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
But yeah, second position for us, decent haul of points. But the matter of fact is, Piastri scored more, and we're coming out of this weekend second best.
A great win then for the Prema team today. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
So Oscar Piastri takes race victory in the feature race here at Silverstone. Second place goes to us, with Guilherme Samaya in third.
And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Difficult call, but I say Guilherme Samaya. He was committed the entire race, and it's paid off with the result.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Well, alrighty then. Let's see where this leaves the championship, the race, etc. So, as for the race results, obviously we just saw the podium. Dan Ticktum fourth, ahead of David Beckman, Robert Schwartzman, so he scored decent points for Prema as well. That's important for the team's championship. And it was Jay Deruvala, another decent result considering where he started, down in 10th position. He moved himself up to 7th. Christian Lundgaard, Marcus Armstrong and Richard Bashaw round out the top 10. Marino Sato just missing out on the points, unfortunately, despite two drivers behind him finding their way in. So yeah, a bit of an unfortunate one, probably based on strategy there for Sato, not on the ideal one. But anyway, in terms of the drivers' standings, we move ourselves back into second position ahead of Deruvala, and 20 points adrift of Oscar Piastri. So the championship fight, separated by a handful of points at the start of the weekend, has not blown wide open. That's the opposite. Has the gaps have blown wide open, we're now 20 points adrift in second position. So that's unfortunate. Marino Sato, with a pointless weekend, has dropped all the way into 6th. And both of us behind our respective Prema rivals. So yeah, that is unfortunate. But anyway, in terms of the Constructors' Championship, as I kind of just mentioned, we are behind Prema. So that's a shame. But I'm sure we will be able to get some of those points back in the future. At the moment, we sit 34 points behind Prema, so yeah, we're not too far back, and we're certainly not out of range. Anyway, that is just about all for this one. In terms of other contenders, actually in the Teams Championship, while I'm still looking at it, 59 points behind for Carlin, and they're really the only ones. The next team's over 100 points adrift, so they're not really in it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. As always, it's very helpful. But other than that, I will see you for the next one. Goodbye.